Well, hello everyone. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I take you through 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscasts. Today is Tuesday, or I should honestly rather say Tuesday, because we will be choosing our next president along with other local seats here in North Alabama. It is, of course, Election Day. But wherever you're watching right now, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or the 48 Now live stream, thank you so much for watching and spending a bit of your Tuesday afternoon with me here. I mentioned earlier it is Election Day, and that is actually what we'll be starting off Before the Four with today. And speaking of Election Day, hopefully you all have gone out to vote, or at least y'all will head out to the polls to cast that vote. Of course, the next president of the United States is on the ballot, but also remember, it is super important to be paying attention to your local races as well. Plenty on the ballot this year: local amendments, county commissioners, probate judges, and so much more all on the ballot. Remember, polling closes tonight at 7, so you just have a few more hours to get out there to your local polling place. And speaking of North Alabama voters, 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy really spoke with a few voters today on their thoughts. And take a listen.
I do want everyone out there to know, okay, this is very important. This is an honor. This is a duty, and it is a privilege. You have people all over the world that's dying to vote. So you have the opportunity. Don't take it lightly or for granted. Regardless of whoever you're voting for, get out here and vote. It is that important.
Very excited. This is the most important election of my lifetime, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to cast my vote today for the winner. Well, it's because the future of our nation is at stake. It's so important that everybody goes out and votes and declares our new president.
Awesome stuff. And also, after the polls close tonight, I will have political analyst Dr. Wayman E. Burke here in the 48 Now area, as we both will be following the results closely as they come in tonight. Dr. Burke will also offer some of his incredible insights. He was, of course, a history and poli-sci professor at Calhoun Community College, Alabama A&M, and many others. He'll be offering those insights into the race, and we'll also speak a little on the rich history of Election Day and just elections in general. It'll be super fun, and it'll be all right here wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. You're just not going to want to miss it. That is for sure. But now let's head into some of our stories that broke today on our website. This is a story out of Jackson County where a man is now behind bars after authorities say he shot and killed his neighbor yesterday. Daniel Lambert, that is who you see on screen, was charged with murder for the death of 42-year-old Adam Cooner. Jackson County Sheriff Rocky Harnan says the shooting happened around 3 p.m. yesterday in the Holly Tree community off County Road 12. The sheriff added that the two have been feuding for years. And 48 Savannah Sapp will have more details for you all coming up in our evening newscasts on this story. But now, I know some of you are waiting for this one. Let's take a look at the weather for the rest of the week. 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis has your latest forecast. How's it looking, Brad?
Yeah, AJ, it's been kind of cool out there with the drizzle, and the drizzle has been heavy at times, but most of that's gone. It has shifted to the north. We could still see a few more showers out there tomorrow morning and again through the afternoon hours. 3-day forecast, a few showers Wednesday, and then late showers possible Thursday, and Friday looks wet, especially the later we get into Friday. We're going to be talking more about this coming up at 4, 5, and 6. Current temperatures have rebounded nicely with the sunshine out there, but still some low 70s, upper 60s along the state line with Tennessee. Over the next 12 hours, it stays muggy. In fact, it'll be a fairly warm night by November standards. We're going to see lows in the mid and upper 60s in most areas. Quick look at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. A few spotty showers mainly over the northwest corner of the state, but can't rule out some drizzle, and I think we're going to see that across Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall County, and you see that area of rain kind of sneaking up the Georgia-Alabama state line, so that'll be a close call, especially in far northeast Alabama. But elsewhere, I think it's going to be a warm, muggy day with highs near 8 and a few areas of some very light rain and drizzle one more time. The heaviest rain will likely move in Friday into Saturday. Again, I'll have a lot more about that coming up.
Well, thank you, Brad. It's certainly nice to see rain after we hadn't seen it for so long, but thanks again. But now a story in Huntsville where police are still investigating after a body was found in a waterway near Stoke Street and Hall Avenue earlier today. Police arrived on scene around 11 a.m. after hearing reports that a body had been found in the area. Investigators say they are still trying to determine the cause of the death. Now, this is all the information we currently have on this situation at this time, but we will continue to update you as soon as we learn more. But now a story in case you missed it. Last night, 48's Nick Ballinger was at the Decatur City Council meeting where the council delayed updating the current zoning ordinance. Nick Ballinger with the story.
The current Decatur zoning ordinance was written back in the 1950s, and with the outdated rules, City Council President Jacob Ladner says it's making it difficult for Decatur to keep up with its neighbors.
Just makes it more modern. Again, the attempt to make it easier for citizens, easier for developers to understand, and just kind of bring us into 2024.
Ladner says some of the old ordinance was written before some of the city's projects had even existed. That's why a development group was brought in to draft a new one to address current-day issues. Decatur resident Andrea Hoffmeyer took it upon herself to read all 400 pages of the ordinance, and she has concerns.
Is there something where there should be a measure instead of there are some things where it just says more? How much more?
She thinks the council has been moving too fast, but appreciates the delay today's amendments caused.
We still are left with is the fact that the public does not understand what's in this document.
Councilman Billy Jackson made it clear that he won't vote to pass this ordinance until the city hires a full-time planning director.
Our city demographic is shifting seismically. And if we don't start appealing to and communicating to all citizens in a way that meets them where they are, then we are going to be paying for it in future generations.
Well, thank you, Nick. And I also see a comment on Facebook from Roberta Smart. She said, good evening. Good evening to you, Roberta. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're doing well. And now another story. It has been a wild race to the White House, that is for sure, this election year, full of political polarization. But one movement is pushing people to find joy in voting. More than that, it's encouraging people to dance to the polls. Here's our national correspondent, Deborah Alfarone, with The Good Side.
It may look like a late night rave, but this is sunrise on a Thursday.
It's a great way to start the morning.
Welcome to Daybreaker, a morning dance party where the strongest drug you'll find is optimism.
Tell me about what Daybreaker is to you.
You know, Daybreaker is a feeling of belonging and celebrating life, you know, without substances, you know, ready to say yes, and ready to wake up and dance and see the glass half full.
Radha Agrawal co-founded Daybreaker in 2013. What started with dozens dancing in the basement of a New York City coffee shop has grown into a worldwide movement. Almost 1 million people moving on 7 continents and 33 cities, from Sydney to San Fran, from Paris to Pittsburgh. And now, Daybreaker is dancing toward democracy.
I think we'll forget that so many new voters are showing up to this election for the first time who are maybe a little intimidated by the process. We want to make sure that they actually feel really welcome, that they do feel appreciated. It's a really great part of our democracy that you get to make your voice heard, and this is something that we should celebrate. So why not make it a party?
It's called the Party to the Polls Purple Tour, bringing red and blue together to energize people to check their voter registration, request an absentee ballot, and pledge to vote. Today, the tour is building unity at DC's National Building Museum. They're freestyling through 15 states across the country, throwing free events where early voting is in effect and people can cast a ballot.
Even if we have different points of view, we're mostly the same, right? We want love, we want care, we want to feel inspired and creative in the work that we do.
Are you seeing people from both parties come to these events?
Yeah, I mean, we see people, not just both parties, but from a whole wide swath of parties. We don't just have two in this country. And so, left, right, and center and all over the board. And we're all neighbors and friends. And regardless of who you're voting for, you can come celebrate the process.
So it's a party no matter your party.
When you think of voting and elections, do you have joy?
Not typically, but why not change that perspective, change that dynamic? Why don't we look upon it with anticipation instead of the dread that many of us get it with now?
In this time of political divide, the Purple Tour hopes to inspire us to break with the usual. And rather than throwing up your hands, clap them. In Washington, with the good side, I'm Barbara Alfarone.
Such a creative situation there, such a creative way to unify people. That is an awesome story there. And I see Pamela also commented, good evening. Good evening to you as well, Pamela. Hope you're doing well. With Roberta also in the comments. But yes, thank you for commenting. But now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscasts. Polling issues today across the Tennessee Valley. 48's Noah Cowell will have more on that coming up. A 72-year-old Alabama man voting for the very first time. Get that incredible story. And finally, a live interview with Madison County probate judge Frank Barger. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And now it is time for Facebook Fun. Let's pull up today's question. And today's question was, of course, fill in the blank. The winner of the 2024 presidential election will be, and I just got to know what you all had to say. No matter who you picked, that is who you pick. This is a safe space here, whether it is left, whether it is right. We can all get together and have a good time here on Facebook Fun. Before the Four is a safe space. But let's see what you all had to say. Jalinda Carroll, she said Trump 2024. Jalinda, thank you so much for commenting. Courtney King said Kamala Harris. Thank you for commenting, Courtney. Regina said whoever wins the most electoral votes. That is for sure true. It all comes down to the Electoral College, not the popular vote. Regina, thank you so much for commenting. Charlie said Forrest Gump. You know, he's got my vote. I would love to see Forrest Gump in the White House. What can't that man do? That is an awesome comment right there, Charlie. Thank you so much for commenting. And then Sissy Lopez said Mickey Mouse. I do want to know what a Mickey Mouse presidency would look like. Would Mickey Mouse turn the White House into a clubhouse? I don't know. I think we need to find out. But Sissy, thank you so much for commenting. And that is about it for today's Before the Four. I want to thank you all for sticking around and spending a little of your Tuesday afternoon here with me on Before the Four. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and of course the 48 Sports Zone app. Turn on those push notifications and you will never miss a breaking story. And again, after 7, after the polls close tonight, we'll have Dr. Wayman Burke right here where you're watching Before the Four right now. You're just not going to want to miss it. But of course, as always, thanks for watching. You all have a great night.